don't tell me you don't have the time. Don't tell me you don't have the time, because you know what? That's not how time works. Nobody has the time. I didn't have time to start a podcast. It's not how it works. People don't nobody's like, well, I have a spare 2 hours in my day, so I guess I'll go figure out how to fill it. It's not how time works. Nobody has time, right? Instead, what happens is that time expands under pressure. Time expands under pressure. That's how it works, right? It's like a balloon. You don't stretch a balloon so that you can fit air into it. It's not how it works. You blow air into the balloon and then it expands.
That's
so
right.
add something to your day. And then you'll be forced to move things around. You'll be forced to restate your priorities, to say, you know what, this thing that I've been doing for a long time, it doesn't really get me anywhere. Maybe I'll drop that and I'll devote the time to this. Or maybe, there's a more efficient way to do that. I spend 5 hours doing this thing, but actually I think I could probably do it in 3. That's how you do it. That's how you make the time. So make the time. As I realized, entrepreneurs think vertically. They have vertical thinking. You stack one thing on top of the other. The only reason to do something is because it is a foundation upon which something else will be built. Most people don't think that way. Most people, myself included in the past, think horizontally. I do one thing, then I move on to the next, then I do that thing, and I move on to the next, and I never build upon them. And I have shifted my mindset over the last couple of years from horizontal thinking to vertical thinking. It has radically changed the way that I approach my work, my life, and it's been everything.
Can you outline the main premises in the book there and what people can gain from that?
The book is oriented around that idea of the 4 phases of change: panic, adaptation, new normal, wouldn't go back. I structured the book in a way in which, so each section of the book is one of those phases, and then there are 4 chapters in each section. And and the reason I wrote this is because I just as I was talking to people throughout my job at Entrepreneur, I just became absolutely fascinated with how these people were navigating this. I started to realize that navigating change, being adaptable, is not something you're born with. It's something you can learn, and people get better at it over time. Oftentimes, I'll ask people, "How did you know how to navigate this crisis?" for example. And their answer is always, because I did it before. Musicians were furious at the development of the phonograph, the first record player. Absolutely furious at it. I mean, they opposed it. They refused to be recorded. The leader of the resistance was this guy named John Philip Sousa. He said that when you bring recorded music technology, when you bring the phonograph, early record player, into the home, it will replace all forms of live music. Right? There's no reason why anybody would perform in the home once they have a machine that would do it. And then, because mothers usually sing to their children, mothers would stop doing that, because again, why would you do that when you have a machine that can do it? And because children grow up to imitate their mothers, the children would now grow up to imitate the machines, and thus we would raise a generation of machine babies. That was his argument. And it's right, it's crazy, it's ridiculous. This is the mistake that we make constantly. We think that we're in a fixed world, and we're not.
And as a result of this mechanical music, John Philip Sousa is better known than he ever would have been in his own day.
That's absolutely right. John Philip Sousa would have been forgotten to time if it wasn't for recordings of his music.
If you enjoy this podcast, please make sure to subscribe. To stay updated on everything that the Action Catalyst is up to, make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Action Catalyst Podcast and Twitter at Catalyst_Action. Thanks for listening.